Spud and I'm Addy. Just listen, you'll glisten, cause you'll be so happy. Our podcast is random talk on this and on that. But what did you expect from potatoes and fat? Yeah, what did you expect from potatoes and fat?
Greetings, everybody. Oh, that was really high and squeaky. Oh, man. Okay, I've gone squeaky and I can't operate my computer today, so you do the intro.
Hello! No, that's even worse. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SpudAdi cast. I'm Spud, and...
I'm Addy.
That's much lower. See, that's not squeaky. It's fine.
I just felt I needed to make up for the beforeness with the afterness.
What, by going squeaky?
I've got a cider and a cheesecake, which I'm going to provocatively eat throughout this episode of SpudAdi. I don't necessarily like it when streamers and people like eat while they do stuff, but I feel relaxed enough and comfortable enough with you and our audience that they won't mind the occasional bit of me going, it's lemony and it's cheesy.
Could you describe it for the people listening to it purely on as a podcast?
It's lemony and it's cheesy.
Know exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it.
I put the fork in the cheesecake.
Oh, this is food porn, people. Go on.
Seductively flicked it up as if I was picking a button on Carol Vorderman, and then slopped it into my mouth as if I was doing something very cheeky and naughty with a grape.
Slopped. Well done. That was a good one.
So how was your double chicken dinner?
That's supposed to be a secret. If Mrs. Spud finds out about that, I'm dead. It's a good job she doesn't listen to this. You know when, obviously we were just talking before we started recording, you know when you have a secret bad lunch,
yeah,
and then you get home and someone's made you a really bad dinner, but they're like, it's all right, you've been eating healthy all week, which I haven't, and you've also probably had a healthy lunch. I've made you a bad dinner. It's a bit naughty, but sorry, that's all we had. It's like, oh crap, that's double chicken, double chips. Yeah. No.
But you just have to suck it up and just do the old thing that us perpetual dieters do and go, don't worry, I'll go to the gym tomorrow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought in my head. I was just going through my daily intake of food. I'll have a healthy porridge with fruit. Mm-hmm. And then for lunch, I'll have a brown bread sandwich, just salad or something. And then I'll have
if I'm on to eat at all tomorrow, I might just starve myself forever.
Yeah. And then for dinner, some air, maybe some dust with the air. That's it.
Maybe not even air. I might just breathe out, lose the weight of the oxygen, from my body.
You're turning blue, but I'm so skinny.
Right, you're up first. Ding, ding, ding. What have we got?
Oh, blimey. Oh, take me by surprise from behind. Yes. Right. I want to talk about Marcus Persson.
Marcus Persson.
Which you might know as @Notch, or I think that's how you pronounce it. The guy who made Minecraft.
Yes. Oh, yes. He's doing something with scrolls?
Well, I didn't want to talk about his next project. I wanted to talk about his recent tweets on Twitter, obviously, because that's where you tweet. Yeah. Saying how sad he is that he's so rich. Now, I'll go into more detail, and I want to ask your opinion on it. So he's basically said that since he's had this, what's the exact figure? £2.5 billion from Microsoft to buy his studio, and along with the title Minecraft, that he's never felt lonely, more lonely than he feels now when he's in Ibiza with celebrities, partying with all his friends and stuff. That's when he feels his loneliest. And even though he tried to take care of everyone when he sold the studio, it's very sad because they all don't like him now because he's so rich. And he's bought. I don't know if you heard about this. He outbid Beyonce and Jay-Z on a Beverly Hills mansion. Like they bid, and he went no, and they must have been like, "Who is this guy? I've never even heard of him." But he outbid them and won the mansion and stuff like this. And so he's saying he's trying to do the right things, and he didn't want to be CEO. It's not about the money, and all this money's made him so depressed. Now, my outlook on it, before I get on to you, and as long as there's no mental health issues which have not been raised, because obviously rich people suffer from depression and stuff like that. What? Come on now. He's a billionaire, and he's just what? He doesn't need to have all this money if he didn't want it. And if he did want the money, he doesn't have to go to Ibiza and party with celebrities. I mean, I can't see why this is such a problem. And so much poverty in the world. I think it's a little bit unsensitive to go on and, oh no, I've got so many billions of dollars. What's your thoughts?
Can I go all deep and meaningful?
See, I knew you would. That's why I thought I'd take the harsh stance, like, oh, boo-hoo, look at me, my big pile of money. I could just imagine him, like Scrooge McDuck, jumping into a giant big safe of money and then going, oh, I hurt my knee on this big safe of money. So I knew you'd be the more sensitive route. So go, hit me with your sensitivity.
No, I'm not sensitive. No, I'm not being sensitive. I'm being analytical and logical without any sense of emotion. Now, I have been doing, over the last few months, I've done some like reading on like different types of people. And people basically more or less kind of divide into 4 categories. I mean, there's lots of ways of classing people. Like you can class people based on their, their gender or their skin color, but I'm talking kind of like emotional intelligence here. There's 4 types of people. There's the explorers. There's the people that like to just go out and be spontaneous and kind of crazy and, let's just do it, man. YOLO. And that could be like, it could mean like jumping out of an airplane and parachuting, or it could mean, kind of going, hey, let's plant a new form of plant in my garden. It doesn't have to be necessarily kind of like outdoorsy people, but it's people that like the new and the adventure and the change and the spontaneity. Then there's the people that are like really, really, really driven and ambitious. And they're very kind of logical and calculated, and they kind of value life based on their kind of success and things like that. And then there's the people that value kind of family and emotion and kids and like kind of get their happiness from kind of the build up of that. And then there's the people that kind of get their then there's the kind of very kind of emotional people. Now, I don't mean emotional like over emotional. I mean like the people that just enjoy emotion, relationships and friendships and talking about problems and how do you feel, man? How do you feel about this? How do you feel? Blah 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 blah. And this guy that's made Minecraft, I don't know him, obviously, because otherwise I'd be asking for a loan. But he obviously is a very, very, very driven person. He made Minecraft, so he must have sat down and be like, I've got this amazing idea. He's very creative, and he's built it, and he's designed it, and he's built a business, and he's, that doesn't happen by accident. Like, it's not like, whoops, I became a billionaire. He must be incredibly driven and one of these people that works non-stop and goes with ideas and things like that. And all of a sudden, he's now ended up in a situation where he's sold his business and gone, oh, I've got loads and loads of money, which means he can be very comfortable. And lots of people, I mean, obviously, I'm sure he's not objecting to the comfortable part, but I wonder if he's actually removed the thing from his life that makes him happy, which is the ambition, the drive, the creativity, the feeling of success and the feeling of I made that and the feeling of, oh, I can change this about the game and I can change that again. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm not surprised that the things that make him happy aren't money.
Well, can I read one of his tweets? Because you might have hit the nail on the head, but I'm going to counter argue it in a second, obviously. Yeah. Right, so, and I quote, the problem with getting everything is you run out of reasons to keep trying, and human interaction becomes impossible due to imbalance. So the first part of that is the fact that he's got everything now. He's got nothing to drive towards. Yeah. But if he was so driven to get to this point in the first place, then surely he can think a way around this. I mean, surely his goals, he's saying it wasn't about the money, but he's saying that now he's got the money, then he's got everything. So then was his goals the money? And if it wasn't the money, then what's your next dream? You wanted to make a successful thing.
Well, he needs to reinvent himself a bit, because obviously there are very rich people that are still very driven. So obviously there's the Bill Gates, but there's also like the Richard Bransons, the Alan Sugars, the Donald Trumps, and those people are constantly setting themselves new challenges. So for example, Richard Branson, who, if you don't know who that is, he's a British businessman. He builds up businesses and famously he sells them, so he built up Virgin Records and then he sold it. He built up Virgin Trains. And I think you might learn that one. Virgin Radio, if I didn't say that already. Virgin Insurance, blah, blah, blah. So he gets his happiness. He's clearly a billionaire, but he gets his happiness from continually making new industries and then selling them on. And probably what this Notch needs to do, and I'm not a therapist, so please don't quote me on this, Notch, if you're listening, is a similar idea. He needs to kind of go, right, so I actually haven't got Minecraft anymore. So I need to do something else. I need to make something. I need to find that happiness from something else. And obviously it's not, if he doesn't, I mean, I know where you're going with this story. You're kind of saying, well, if he doesn't want the money, I'll have it. But I think he's probably just readjusting to a new stage of his life. And, we all struggle with change.
Right, I know, but I don't personally. I mean, I'm not wealthy in any sense of the word at all. I would actually class myself as just below average. And I've got a job and I'm all right, but I can't afford to go out and do anything I like, or even a lot of thought goes into everything. I wouldn't go online and moan about my life because there's people who are homeless, and you know what I mean. Even though I moan privately. Oh God, I hate how driving this car. It's always breaking down. I can't afford a new one. Oh, the MOT's coming up, and I know it's going to fail. I know. Maybe if I bribe the mechanic, but I don't go and complain about it because unconscious that someone else might be in a much worse situation where I was, 5-10 years ago, and think, yeah, the smug git with his job and his car and his laptop and his this and his that. But he's literally got more money than he's ever going to spend in his life. He's got an opportunity to do whatever he wants. And he's saying he doesn't know what he wants to do, and he's so depressed and lonely.
I completely agree with you that it was a very unwise tweet. But it's amazing how many celebrities do put stupid things on Twitter and Facebook and then kind of go, oops, I didn't know I shouldn't put that in. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing how often it happens.
I think I should note, before this, I only heard positive things about him. He was very interactive with the community of Minecraft, and he doesn't seem like a elitist snob of a rich man, mainly because he wasn't until in the last few years. But I mean, that's happened very quickly. If now he's going, oh, where is me with my big pot of money?
It is interesting, though, how many rich people and how many famous people end up kind of like recluses and end up saying, oh, I haven't really got friends, or I haven't really got interaction. Like, it seems to be a common problem that these people have everything they ever want in terms of money, but it doesn't make them happy. I mean, there's the cheesy phrases like money doesn't buy happiness, but we know that they're phrases that you use when, you haven't got any money and you've only got kind of like, a significant other in your life, and you kind of use it to kind of make yourself feel better about not having any money. But there is a really strong element of truth that there are a large number of celebrities, famous people, rich people that don't actually find the money itself brings the happiness.
Well, this is why I would make the perfect billionaire, because I'm already quite. I like just going home and chilling on my own. So if I had a big giant pile of money to do that on, that'd be great. I could burn money, wipe my bum with £50 notes. Maybe. What else could you do if you had too much money? Maybe make a blanket and stuff it full of £50 notes. Everything with £50.
Sadly, though, really, really undriven, lazy people don't necessarily become billionaires. Though I think that's the problem.
Which is exactly my problem. Damn it! So if only I got paid for being lazy. How lazy have you been today?
Someone like, hey, you're really driven and you're going to earn loads of money. I could do lots with lots of money, whereas you like the drive. So you give me your money. You can earn my salary. I earn yours. Happiness.
Perfect. There you go.
Perfect.
Go.
Loot Crate.
Loot Crate!
It's arrived. I thought I'd open it on the podcast.
Oh, so you haven't opened it yet?
I haven't opened it yet.
Okay, cool.
So this is Loot Crate. So I'm sure lots of you know what Loot Crate is, but in case you don't, I'll just give a quick overview. It's a website called Loot Crate, and it's an idea where basically each month you pay a subscription fee, and each month they send you a box of stuff. And I believe it's vaguely kind of, in quotes, nerdy aimed, but you don't know what's in it. You don't know what you're going to get. And I must admit, it's the kind of thing I would never ever buy myself, because that random element of, what if I don't like it? What if I do like it? What if I don't like it? But Spud bought it for me for a birthday present, which I think is awesome. And I've been really looking forward to it. And it's arrived today. So I thought I'd open it on the podcast. And obviously, those of you that are listening audio wise, I'll describe very much what's in there. Did I describe Loot Crate successfully? Yeah,
that's good. That's right on the money.
Okay. Well, here we go. So it says, open it up and it says, document share, enjoy or else. Document to share? Document share. Apparently I have to enjoy it or else. Okay, I've opened it up and it's very tightly packed and stuff. Okay,
That's what she said.
Something big with Marvel written on it. It's a mug.
That's also what she said.
It's a molded mug. It says Marvel molded mug, which is a really cool idea. Does that mean, is this going to have like a giant face of a superhero or a supervillain on it or something like that?
It's got one of two characters, but I'm not going to tell you which one until you open it, and then I'll tell you the alternative.
Toby Jug for heroes. Let's have a look. Okay. I must win the fight. Oh, it's polystyrene. Okay. Oh, it's red. It's like evil Spider-Man. Is this Venom?
Is it red or black?
It's red.
I got the other one. Cool. I got Venom. You got Carnage.
Carnage. There we go. Oh, that's a scary mug. Izzy's going to love having that on the shelf. I can see Clara enjoying this already. I think this might have to go into school.
Why is Satan on the kitchen side? It's not Satan. It's an evil serial killer who has the same alien costume as Venom. I
think religious education teaches that teacher year 7s should have mugs that look like that. I feel that's important.
Well, you could start a whole lesson on Carnage, because the whole thing about Carnage's character, just for a little background really quickly, is that, was he born evil or did society make him evil serial killer?
That sounds like the kind of thing I would make a 20-hour role play about in a computer game.
It does. It's an interesting question.
And I've got a T-shirt, a yellow T-shirt.
No.
Which I can't see. Looks like there's a bit of green on it. Yellow and green. What's yellow and green? Thundercats? Hulk? Who knows? Oh, no, it's not a T-shirt. No, it is a T-shirt. No, it's not. It is. Oh, it's a bag. Oh, it's an apron. It's a Polo Chicken apron. It's a Breaking Bad apron.
So the theme, if you haven't guessed, the theme of this month's, or the one you've got months, is villains. It's all about villains. Each thing is something to do with villains.
That's very cool. And I've got a Joker wooden painted figure with lots of tee-hee-hee-ha-ha-has. And then, well, although small parts mustn't be given to under 3-year-olds. I've got some Captain America EFX collectibles. What's that? I won't open it up because I don't want to open up everything and take up all the show. What is that?
It's a Hydra pin badge. So, you know, the Nazi-like group that Captain America fights.
Cool. And then I've got looks like a Venom loot crate badge to go with that, and possibly a poster at the bottom with the Joker on it.
It's a booklet. It's got a really difficult quiz in there. So I'll let you do on that thing. This is just about loot crate stuff and cool facts and stuff like that.
Thank you very much, Spud. That is very, very cool.
It was my pleasure. Now that one, as I explained to you, I think the other day when we went sports and stuff, that's got from what I can see, the biggest split of the community of loot crate ever. Some people go, "This is a load of crap," and other people go, "It's amazing." But
why is this
all right
controversial? What do people like or not like?
People say the mug is poorly painted, but I've got the Venom one, and I think it's fine. It's not going over the edges or anything like that, so I can't see what they're saying about poorly painted. You've got the Carnage one, so you can tell me what you think about that one.
Other people covered in little white flaky bits, but I'm brushing them off, and they're coming off.
Yes, that's probably the polystyrene.
Yeah, it's probably the polystyrene. I wouldn't call it poorly painted. Tiny bit over the rim, but it's more like you got to look for it.
And this is obviously a mortal sin for nowadays. I've never watched Breaking Bad. I'm going to as soon as I finish Dexter. But as soon as I do, I'm sure that apron will be awesome for me. I'll be like, cool, now I get it. I kind of get what it is, but I don't at the moment. But so what? It's not a big deal. And the weakest thing I think, because I'm a fully grown man and I can't wear it outside, is the pin badges. But I've stuck them on the apron as a kitchen apron. So it's fine. It all works out. But I like the mug and I like the Joker figure. So I can't see what the problem is. But some people are really pissed and say it's the worst one they've ever had and stuff like that. But I think it's my first loot crate, as it's your first loot crate, and I think it's quite good.
I think it's great. I think it's a cool thing to enjoy opening and kind of going, ooh. I think they're all things that I wouldn't buy myself, but they're things I'd see in a shop and go, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. But now I actually have them.
Exactly.
You only go to like comic book shops. Like I did it so much over when there was a mini Addy meet, like a month or so ago in Cardiff, and I popped down on the off chance. Me, Henwar, and a Gryffindor went around some shops, like comic book shops, and there's just so much stuff you just walk around kind of going, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. And if you actually had it, it would just end up on a shelf, and you wouldn't do anything with it. Because what really do you do with any of this stuff? But at the same time, there's a little part of you that goes like, I like that. That's cool. I want that.
I agree. I went. We went to the EXG computer games convention, and there was so many stuff on the stalls, selling stuff. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. Look at that T-shirt. Look at that Luigi hat. It's like Luigi's hat. I could pretend I'm the brother in the shadow of Mario and have a complex about myself all day. Yeah. But you don't. You kind of go, is it worth 30, 40 quid? No, probably not. And I'll get in trouble when I get home as well.
One of our viewers is saying that there was a fantasy crate a while back. So I guess each crate has a theme to it.
Yeah. So this was the second villain crate. I don't know what was in the first villain crate, but there's like a DC crate sometimes, and then there's fantasy, and then there's steampunk. I think was a crate once. I think there's been a couple of steampunk ones, but each one has got a theme. I can't remember what next month is. They've announced what the theme is. Obviously,
the kind of geeky nerdy community. There needs to be a better name than geeky nerdy, because geeky and nerdy have like negative connotations that I don't like. But it is that community. But it's weird how that community has embraced steampunk as it's like fashion that not many of them wear, but they all like. It's like goths have got goths and business people have got suits. And somehow nerds have kind of gone, what we really need is a pair of old-fashioned glasses, maybe a top hat, some stuff that looks like it could have been designed in the past, but actually has the technology of the future. Yeah.
Yeah, they do completely claimed it. It's good. Good stuff.
They have. Right, that's me. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Right, well, that leads nicely on, geeky, nerdy stuff, as you said, to my next thing. And, right, so I think the geeky, nerdy community, be it comics, films, cosplay, games twice. I think we're quite a nice open community. I mean, we compared to other communities. So you got your football fans, for example, in the UK for the American thing. We've got any football team. Someone else will just really say, your mum is a dirty so and so because you support this team. But I don't think we're that bad. I mean, there's the console fanboy wars, but something's crept up, and I was reading an article about it the other day, and I wanted to put it to you to think about. And we're very much part of the communities. Are nerdy, geeky cultures racist and sexist? That's deep, man. I want to go into this because recently the new Spider-Man,
very deep sociological conversation.
It is. And the article I was reading, I started reading the article going, pish posh, that's a load of nonsense. And by the end of the article, I was like, I kind of see exactly what they mean, and I kind of agree with it now. The new Spider-Man was cast, and I don't know if you're aware, but the new Marvel Comics are rebooting all their comics after this latest big storyline called Secret Wars. I think it's the third Secret Wars, but this one is basically resetting everything, and it's bringing all the different universes and alternative realities all into one comics, and they're going to relaunch them, and it's going to be different ones. So now, more or less, the new Spider-Man is Miles Morales, I think his name. I can never pronounce his second name, but I've read a couple of his comics. He seems like a cool character. I think he's half African American, half Mexican, I think. But he's a good appearance of a young teenage black guy, and he's cool. He's got slightly different powers of Spider-Man, but he's the new Spider-Man because in that particular dimension or reality, Peter Parker died. Or did he? But anyway, so he took up the mantle of Spider-Man. Now, when they were now recasting the new Spider-Man film, which Sony have let Marvel be in their universe, everyone went, odds on, bet you any money it's going to be the new Spider-Man. And it was not. It's a white Peter Parker guy. Now, I think that particular decision is because everyone knows who Peter Parker is. And did you know about Miles before I just told you?
No, but I knew about Peter Parker, obviously.
Yeah, everyone knows Peter Parker. It's like Bruce Wayne with Batman and stuff like that. A lot of people take the other side going, Spider-Man's a symbol, much like Batman's a symbol, anyone could be under the mask. But I disagree with that. But then there's other points the article brings up about the Avengers film, the Age of Ultron one that just come out. Black Widow. There was a lot of talk about the film being quite sexist, not because of the in-film stuff. She got a lot of screen time. She's badass. She's an assassin. They delve into her history. She got a fair...
Her plotline was I'm the romantic interest for Hulk.
Yeah, but she still retained the badass element. And I don't get where that storyline come from. But I think it wasn't representing too badly in the film. But she had no merchandise, apparently. And,
really?
They didn't... Yeah, it was like this big lack. They had all these T-shirts. I think Asda in the UK had this, which is Walmart in the UK, in the US. Sorry, all these T-shirts, all the characters, and it's always all the male characters. Even to a lesser extent, Hawkeye, who's not one of the main Avengers, but he still had his own range. But she had nothing, and it was like, and basically, it looks like, and this is true with games. I mean, you can count on your hand how many female or black guys or Asian guys or whatever are the main characters in games. And it seems to be ruled purely because the studios, the film developers and everything else always try to aim to the white male demographic all the time. So I just wanted to know your opinion on it.
I think there's two issues there. I mean, the first one is that games, the people that make games, and we've talked about this before with free-to-play stuff, people that make games have to make money. Like, although a lot of them will have this like, I want to make my game like this because I've got this story to tell, because I've got this great gameplay idea, because I'm an auteur man. Some of them will have those ideas, but at the end of the day, if they don't make money, this will be the last game they ever make. And most of them have publishers to answer to as well. So they have to make something that's going to have the widest appeal. So I don't blame the games manufacturers for making things that will sell more, that people can kind of identify with. Well, I'm just going to have a random example. I mean, this might not be a good example, but it's going to be an example I'm going to give. Do you remember we used to love the wrestling game No Mercy?
Yes.
And then they released, the game's company then released another one, which was called something like Def Jam, and it was like the same kind of mechanics, but it was based around a load of rappers.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it because I don't care about rappers. There's nothing to do with like, skin color or anything like that. But like for me, that was just not my demographic. I just wasn't interested at all in buying that because I'm not interested in that. And so it's possible, I guess, that, people just, the games designers and the publishers always have to kind of think, well, what will sell? This is more guaranteed to sell, so therefore we'll go for it. So I don't blame the games designers, but it does perhaps raise an interesting sociological question about whether people naturally gravitate towards games that have characters that they can more easily identify with. There's another issue about, the first thing I thought when you mentioned about, is our kind of nerds, sexist and racist type thing is that, I mean, I'm sure everyone kind of knows this already, but the internet allows for trolls. Like, you get trolls on the internet in a way that you never get in real life because you have that anonymity of the computer screen and the internet. And, and people do judge each other. I'm sure you walk down the street and I walk down the street and we see people and we, most of the time we think nice things or more likely we think nothing at all. But occasionally we see someone and we think something judgmental and we'd never say that judgmental thing, or, we might possibly have a little word privately to our friend, but we think it, but we don't necessarily say it. But the internet allows us to say those things with little comeback. And so that probably leads to a lot more sexist comments, racist comments. I mean, you see it all the time in the Twitch chat. I mean, I love my Twitch community and I love my YouTube community because they are really, really nice people. But I'm also aware sometimes it tends to happen when I play wrestling games. If I play wrestling games, people tend to come into the chat that are not nearly as nice and just make comments that you just kind of go, really? Like, how is that acceptable? So I don't think that the nerdy community is necessarily more sexist and racist than other people are. But that most other communities have checks and balances. Like, people kind of keep it hidden, and we act in a way which is socially acceptable to allow society to kind of flourish and to exist and things like that. Whereas the nerdy community, because it tends to exist online, these personality traits probably come out stronger. There we go. A very sociological answer to your thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. The drawbacks on that is that I think all groups now, so your sports fans, your politics, people who are well into politics, they're all online as well now. So taking out online communication, you're left with probably decisions the big companies make. And personally, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on a podcast, if Spider-Man was black, I wouldn't care as long as it made sense. And because it does make sense, because there is a black Spider-Man now, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I would not bat an eyelid for 1 second. If the character's a female, I've never thought of it until I read this article. I've never thought, oh, that's ridiculous. Now, if Bruce Wayne was a black man, then I'd be like, hang on a minute, the character's not black. That's fine. And that is kind of important to the character because he comes from a period that white, rich people were walking down an alleyway, etc., and it comes from that. I mean, you could
they
reboot
might have been
it.
scared off by that. Wasn't there like a hoo-ha recently with not I was going to say the Figure Four, the Fantastic Four. They changed Human Torch, so I'm not sure the character's name, from being a white guy to being a black guy, and lots of people they said the character was white, whereas you're saying something different. You're saying you're saying the objection was not for racial issues, but was for character issues.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a good example. But I think they fixed that by just having, because Sue Storm and Johnny Storm, the Human Torch and the Invisible Woman, are brother and sister. Now, if they are one, you've got a white woman and a black man, that doesn't make sense. But I think what they did, and I haven't seen the film, but I assume they just said they're not brother and sister anymore. Okay, fine. In this universe, they're not brother and sister, and he's a black man. That makes complete sense to me. There's another, I think, in the really bad Daredevil film, the first Daredevil, not the series, the film, they changed the Kingpin into a black guy. Well, that's fine. It's not, his colour was never an important part of his character, ever. So that's fine. James Bond, he could be. I think one of his parents was supposed to be.
Oh, hello? Have you gone? Oh, have we lost a Spud? I'm Spudless. He went off in mid-rant. Am I still here? I might still be here. I'll keep talking nonetheless while we see if we can get Spud back. I think it's an interesting idea that I think it depends what annoys the community is the issue, because there might be, there'll be certain communities that are more kind of like comic book purists or plotline purists that will kind of go, well, this character is a boy, or this character is a girl, or this character is white, or this character is black. And then there's other people that would just not like there are other people that are just going to be more racist. So I think there's two things. But I think the Fantastic Four thing was kicked off with, there was a lot of kind of comic book fans kicking off saying this isn't what the character's supposed to be. But I do understand that because there was a reaction against that. In fact, there's been two reactions against it recently, because there was the Stormtrooper that was a black guy as well, and people were saying, well, how can they kind of said, we're not objecting to being a black guy, we're saying that he wasn't the clone of the guy that was in Attack of the Clones from episode 2. So it's a I think it's a difficult issue, but I think that society and games and computer games and movies are slowly moving in the right direction. But I do agree with Spud that there is a lack of oh, you back there, Spud?
I'm back. I've had to go on my phone because my computer just decided to die on me.
Nice. I think you are right that there is a lack of female leads, black leads, non-white leads in movies and games, and it would be nice to see more. Like there isn't a black equivalent of Solid Snake or Nathan from Uncharted or things like that. The only time you really see it is in games where you can basically pick your own character. Oh, there was there's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I know that was a while ago.
Yeah, and that was good. I mean, people still criticise it straight away because the very first mission is to steal something, and it leads into a negative stereotype. I mean, there's memes about that and stuff, and it's like, really? But I think there is hope for the future. I think the film studios and the game developers, they need to just, bite the bullet and just. But then again, is making an effort to do that on purpose, is that also a little bit racist? We put a black main character in there because he had to be black to make everyone even that. But I think that's probably the way forward. And could you imagine some racist guy sitting at home and he loves computer games, and the new must-have game, the main character is a black guy, and he's like, oh, I'm not buying that game, no way, man. All his friends are going to be like, you should play it, it's awesome. And eventually,
an Assassin's Creed with a non-white character, I don't think anyone would mind. The other thing I think that's important to remember here is that we hear about these so-called arguments and people being upset from the media, and the media loves conflict and criticism and things like that. And you see it all the time, whether it's the world of politics or the world of celebrity. It only takes one person to say, I don't like that, for someone to kind of, then write a story kind of going, controversy about blah, 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 and make a big story about it. And everyone kind of reads about this, everyone kind of reads about this big argument that's going on. But actually, it's a very few people that are just moaning about something. But the media makes it seem like there's a big debate going on. And you see it, whether it's because they do all the time. They look for people on both sides of arguments, and then they make it seem like there's, some sort of big row going on in the world of politics or the world of celebrity or the world of games. So the other thing I do is I would just take with a big pinch of salt, actually, how many people are bothered by this stuff.
Yeah. But the other thing, the last thing saying this, there is hope, because especially with the films, let's go with the films, the Marvel Universe. Let's use that. Yeah. I mean, they make loads of money, but all the main characters are still white male.
Well, they made Iceman gay. Although I know that's in the comics, but
yep. Again, that's in the comic. The comic Marvel comics are they're forefront. I think we've got Miss Marvel is a lesbian, and we've got a female Thor. We've got a black Spider-Man, a black Captain America. Falcon takes over being Captain America, so he's a black guy. And yeah, we've got a gay Iceman. So, I mean, that's, it's covered all the bases, and hopefully, the next generation won't have any objection, and they'll feel like you should do and just not even notice it. It's not even a question. It's like, well, really?
Superhero movies, though, is that most of these superheroes have been around since the 1950s or 40s in some cases. But, we're talking characters that have been around for years and years and years and years. So it's unsurprising that most of them come from the demographic that bought things at the time and things like that. I mean, if you look at modern day soap operas, I'm thinking like UK ones, EastEnders, Coronation Street, and things like that. They do reflect modern day society. I think there's just a few more kind of things pulling in different directions on comics on comic book movies to stop them necessarily fully reflecting these. But you look at other movies, that are made, and the demographics are more or less kind of being covered. If you look at something like, say, the Jurassic Park movies, or the things that don't have 30 years of comic books kind of behind them. They're covering the bases they're covering the demographics most of the time.
The main character, I know that's just an example, but it's still white male. It's always, you've got a couple of exceptions, like Will Smith. He was the main man for lots of films, but there's exceptions here. But I think it's still a bit of an issue that my worry is not that they're not doing it. If they're doing it not on purpose, I didn't even think that. I just cast him because I thought it was correct for the role. That's fine. But if they actually go out of their way going, well, we can't do that because he's not white male, that's the problem. But I think the Marvel film universe could be the catalyst, because all the main characters eventually they're going to come to the end of their contracts and they're going to want to leave, because all actors do. They don't want to be in the same role forever and ever. We've seen it, Doctor Who. You know, otherwise we'd still have, well, not the first Doctor because he'd be pretty old now. But anyway, but you know, Thor's going to leave.
Pushing him around.
You know, Chris Hemsworth's going to leave, and Chris Evans. Is that his name, Chris Evans? I keep thinking of the UK Chris Evans. Yeah, the Captain America, and you've already got the characters there. They're already kind of in the background. Falcon is a character, and he's a black male, just like in the comics. And let's say the last Captain America film, whatever happens, that Steve Rogers characters, he could die. Falcon easily could take his place, because that's what happened in the comics. You know, whoever this Spider-Man actor is, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's only going to have a 4 or 5 film contract. And when that goes, perfect. Now use the new Spider-Man. The films could teach everyone who Miles is. And then it won't be an issue of you've never heard Miles. It'll be an issue of, oh yeah, there was 2 Spider-Man. It was Miles and Peter Parker. And then everyone will be happy.
Good. And the world will be a better place.
Everyone hold hands and dance and sing.
I dream of a world where little white superheroes and little black superheroes will hold hands and save the world together. And sing free at last, the world is free from Black Galacticus, free at last. That kind of thing.
Black Galactus. Cool.
Did I go too far with Black Galacticus?
No, that's it doesn't matter. He's Colour Man. He's a galactic threat. He needs to be taken care of.
Right, is it my turn?
It is.
Okay, this question isn't particularly controversial. This question is just more of a kind of like, think of reasons for this. I mentioned this a few weeks ago. Steam has a stats page which shows you all the games that are being played right now, and I'm going to post it into the chat here on Twitch, and I'll put it into the description on the YouTube, and maybe you can attach it to the podcast as well. But it's store.steampowered.com/stats. Store.steampowered.com/stats. There you go. Too much cider.
Is this like a list?
It's a list, and it tells. Shut up. And I know, and it tells you all of the games that are being played right now. Now, some of them are brand new, and so you'd expect them to be up there. So there's things like Metal Gear Solid 5 is number 3. And then you've got things like, he says, looking through the list for something new. That's kind of it for the new stuff. Because the thing I want to point out of this is that a lot of this stuff is actually very old. You've got Dota 2, Counter-Strike, Football Manager, granted it's the latest version, Team Fortress, Civilization 5, Skyrim, Grand Theft Auto 5, which is like a year old now, Terraria, and each one of these has got thousands and thousands. Each one of them has got over 30,000 people playing it today. So my question to you is, and this isn't a controversial question, I think it's just like what identified it. What is it that makes certain games just stick around seemingly forever? And what is it that lets other games kind of slip away?
Good. And this has happened recently with a couple of examples I can think of on the console as well with Evolve. Everyone was hyped about that. I was hyped about that, and it came out, and I was like, And Titanfall, that's another one, just completely slipped away out of nowhere. Yeah. It's going to be a combination of. It has to be a combination of factors. I can't think of any one factor. Community. If a load of people are playing it, then you're probably going to want to play it. And if they, if the community is always there, especially if you make friends and regular players and teams and tournaments and new content and stuff like that. So there's community. Core good gameplay as well, I guess.
But it's not just gameplay, because like if you think about even obviously it is gameplay, but like the single player adventures die off pretty quick, except Civ 5 and Skyrim. I think it must be something to do with being able to choose your own path in these games. So I mentioned Uncharted earlier. Granted, Uncharted is not a PC game, but like a game which is you kind of play through, you have that adventure, and then you finish. We'll have loads and loads of people playing it, and then it will disappear. Probably like Metal Gear Solid, I assume will do that. But the games that allow you to make your own adventures, Civilization, Skyrim, they obviously have a lot bigger. People,
and they've got open.
They'll play them more often. I mean, look at Minecraft.
Yeah, and then probably open world games. Is GTA 5 on there?
Yes.
Yeah, so possibly open world things where me and you can have a completely different experience, and then we can both meet up and go, hey, I was driving down the road in GTA 5 and some douchebag smashed into me. So I got out of the car, obviously, because I'm a reasonable human being. I threw a grenade at his car, and the police come along and they've chased me in a helicopter. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's the individual things that can happen. Because we've had that about Fallout 3 in particular. I remember us trading old war stories.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I went into the room and and then there was a giant guy. Oh my god! And there was the story you were telling me that you put all the traps behind you and then you didn't know it was in front of you. And there's loads of more stories. That,
you wait till I start telling you about my wizard lizard in Skyrim. I mean, I could tell you adventures for days.
Wizard. I don't know why, but every time I read and see, I can imagine like a lizard man in a wizard thing, like a gown, but lying sideways, like seductively, like, how you doing? I don't know why the sexy elements come into it. It's just wizard lizard. Maybe because it rhymes. It's a bit strange. Maybe I just like wizards and lizards.
Sorry, I'm doing a very child-friendly wizard lizard, and you're taking him in a very sexual way. Is that where we're going with this?
Weird Skyrim lizard adult movie kind of thing. Yeah, sorry. That's bad. I don't get away from the kids too much. When I do, I just really go adult.
Yeah,
So, hey.
You just go for it.
Yeah, I think it's probably the open world then. If the list of games are all open world and that kind of game, it's probably that you can go back
open
to
world or multiplayer. Euro Truck Simulator's up there, and you know I love a good simulator game.
Oh, you do. Yeah, because I guess like I think of a single player experience at the moment, so I can't. My mind's gone completely blank. But a Call of Duty game, pick the Advanced Warfare. So that bit. Oh, you know what happens to me? Oh, did the boss jump out and shoot you? Yeah, oh yeah, because that's exactly what happens to everyone.
That's just what happens in that
very set piece of the game, and that set piece might be cool, but it's going to happen to everyone. There's not different stories. You're going to play it 5 times, and 5 times the same thing's going to happen. But that's not going to happen with those games.
It's definitely an interesting list to look through. So if you're listening or you're watching, have a look through the list, see if it surprises you, or maybe it makes you think, oh, I should play Clicker Heroes, because apparently half the world is. What the hell's Clicker Heroes?
Don't know. I've never heard of that one.
I've never heard of Clicker Heroes. There are 40,000 people playing it right now.
Wow. Everything else you said, I was on board, but not that. Clicker Heroes. Sounds like a mobile game.
Frick is Clicker Heroes? What?
Shall I Google it?
It's got... What? It's a free-to-play game. Ever wonder what quadrillion damage per second feels like? Want to know more? Embark on your quest to attain it today. Start out by clicking on the monster to kill them and get their gold. Spend that gold on hiring new heroes and get more damage. The more damage you deal, the more gold you will get. Clicker Heroes. 40,000 people playing it right now. Join them.
Heroes.
40,000 people. Anyway, your turn.
Yeah. I'm all out of topics. It's been a bit of a dry news week for me. Have you got any more? Cool. Got you again. 2 in a row.
Well, we said we weren't going to talk about wrestling this week, but I want to talk about wrestling. Because Sting has been on Raw 2 weeks running now. And I know I'm going to be harsh on Sting, and I'm always harsh on Sting, and I'm always harsh on Sting.
You do hate him and Christian. Oh, poor Sting and Christian. They should do a tag team.
Who's going to buy this pay-per-view of Sting versus Seth Rollins? Because here's the thing, yeah. The last time Sting was massively in the mainstream was well over 10 years ago now. Like, we're talking WCW. And WCW went bust because not enough people were watching it. And Sting wasn't often world champion even when it was really big. There was the famous burial incident. And then Sting was in TNA, which obviously meant not many people watched him. And in fact, TNA didn't grow as a result of having Sting. And then Sting came in at WrestleMania and had a okay but not great match with Triple H, which he lost. So who's going to buy this? Who's sitting there kind of going, oh, well, I wasn't going to buy that pay-per-view, but Sting's there. Blam, I'm sold. Discuss.
I mean, I'm more interested to see Seth against Sting than Sting against Seth, if you know what I mean.
This is the other problem, is that they've brought Sting in as a good guy, a babyface, but Seth is actually slowly turning into a babyface. Like, he started wearing white, and people love him. He's a bad guy, but actually people like him. He's the cool guy heel. So
this is the main thing, is that obviously didn't Cena come out and challenge him for the US title as well?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
So he's now defying the odds, which is not a bad guy move. He's going to be wrestling twice on one night, and he's going to look like a bad man. Where these two are just having one match each against him. It's just making him look even better. Maybe it's all part of the big plan. Have him wrestle a 60-year-old guy with that his face paint melts every 5 seconds, and then have him wrestle the other guy that everyone hates, and all that stuff. And then,
that are not wrestling fans, can I point out that Sting is not the guy that sung "An American in New York"?
Yeah, one of your Twitch followers and friends, the ever golf revenge match evading Mr. Pix made that joke to me, and I was like, oh, too easy joke, man. It's too easy.
Too easy joke.
Too easy, mate.
I just don't see who's gonna watch that match and get excited. I mean, I'm intrigued to see it, but I just don't feel that wrestling should make you intrigued to watch a match. You should be like, oh man, I can't wait to see that guy get that guy, or that guy get that guy. That's going to be a great match. I mean, they're the emotions you want to feel, rather than, I wonder what they're going to do with that.
I wonder how Seth can have a good match against Sting. That's going to be interesting to watch. How they're going to do that? They're going to bring back the NWO, the NWO, and the DX again, or WrestleMania shortcut there. Yeah, I get what you say. At first, when it was announced, I was like, ooh, and I thought, actually no. And now that he's doing 2 matches in a night against 2 people, I think that takes away from it, if anything.
I mean, exactly.
Do you think he's going to win the title, though?
Sting's got a name. I mean, people have heard of Sting, and fame is a very important thing. I mean, just look at Kanye West coming out and joking about running for president and stuff. You know, if you're famous, people will listen to you, people will write about you in papers, people will tell their friends and things like that. And so the fact that Sting is famous, it will get people kind of go, oh, it's Sting, because everyone's heard of Sting. And, you know, there is an aura about it. And I do get that, but I'm just thinking, I'm kind of taking it to the next level. I've gone past the ooh and now gone, really? So do you think Kanye West is going to run for president?
Oh, I hope not. Oh no, surely not. When you just said he joked, I was like, really? Good, that's good. Because everyone, well, all the things online that I've read, they're worried that he's really going to actually do it properly. Imagine him president.
I mean, it's not like anyone really respects him anymore.
So he'd fit in with all the other politicians. Hey,
well, his music. He had past tense a very successful music career, but he's at that kind of Robbie Williams stage of you have a few very successful animals, very successful albums, but then you start to release other albums, and actually they're not selling nearly as well, but you're still famous because people have heard of you, and you're keeping in the public eye because of relationships or drug rehab or silly things you're saying, but. You know, outside of 4 5 Seconds, which is an excellent song, try covering it sometime. He's not been successful musically recently.
No, I haven't been interested since his first album. That was it. After that, I was a couple of songs there and now, but nothing particular. But he can't be said. Who would vote for him? But then again, everyone said this about Trump.
Yeah, and now Trump's a contender.
Which is just amazing. Taylor Swift should, because he keeps like jumping up during award ceremonies and saying, "Yeah, you shouldn't win this award, Beyonce." She should stand as well against him. That'd be so cool. I'd vote for her.
He should she should wait for him to be doing a speech on a stage, and then she should jump up on the stage and be like, "No, I would vote for you, but Beyonce should have won instead."
Yeah. And then during press conferences, she could her answer to everything would be, "I'd just shake it off." Everything. So, the nuclear weapon program. No, just shake it off. No, you're just saying the same thing?
Bad blood between them, though.
Uh-oh.
Right, do we have any questions?
We do. Right, first, really quick question, because I don't think you know about it, but just in case you are a closet fan, Mist on Twitter asked, any thoughts on the fact that there will be a second Last Airbender movie?
No,
sorry, Mist. I used to watch the odd cartoon episode, and then I watched that really bad film, and that was it. But no, we have no thoughts. I'm sorry. Before I get that out of the way.
My brother Krentaris used to watch Last Airbender, but wasn't the first Last Airbender movie? That word "last" is going to confuse these sentences. Wasn't the first Last Airbender movie famously very bad? Wasn't it M. Night Shyamalan, the guy that did Signs and Sixth Sense? He did it, and it was. I know that it was terrible. I haven't seen it.
I watched half of it because I used to watch the cartoon, the very first series
of it. Oh, a movie's never good if you watch half of it.
Oh, I mean, I didn't go to cinema. I think it was on TV, but I think I got halfway through and was like, not for me. I used to think the cartoon was cool when I used to get ready for work on Saturday mornings, and I used to stick on the TV. It was quite cool. It was good, but if it's a good film and it sticks by that good cartoon, then good.
I think this leads us back a little bit back to the superhero thing. Is that I think it's a difficult job to get right when you make a film of something that is loved by so many people, because the things like The Last Airbender or Naruto or Pokemon or whatever. You've got hardcore fans that know it inside out. I mean, Doctor Who, for example, you've got, the main fan base are rabid fans. And when you make that movie, your movie has to satisfy those hardcore fans because they know the plot inside out and you've got to make sure you do it right. But actually, if you only appeal to those fans, you're not going to make enough money to pay for your movie. So you have to you have to make those fans happy, but you also have to aim mainstream again. And we've talked about this, with regards to like lead characters and things like that. Because over something like The Last Airbender, which was pretty big, but is now kind of a niche thing, they're going to have to make a movie which both makes the community happy and makes someone like me kind of going, I'd quite like to go and see The Last Airbender. And it's a difficult balance to make. I wonder if there's franchises that would be very difficult to make a movie out of for the same reasons.
I think, well, you use Doctor Who as an example. I think as long as you steer away from big plot holes and things that contradict themselves, because that's the main thing, me personally, when I watch programs. You can't do that because you established in a previous episode that you cannot do that because of this. And I'm that person that says that. It winds me up. It just seems like that's the only thing they have to avoid. And if they can avoid that with a cool story, then they probably can appeal to both audiences.
Difficult.
With different franchises, not just Doctor Who and Airbender, but everything.
It's interesting how often they go away from the core plot lines as well. Like the new, the Star Trek reboots, for example, is not hugely Star Trekky. And it's almost. I mean, I know a lot of the Star Trek fans didn't like Star Trek. With the rebooted ones because they were like, this isn't a Star Trek movie; it's a random space franchise. It's tricky. Any other questions?
Yes, we got Jenny Bunny. If she came to our house now and looked in our fridge, what would be in it?
Oh, too many things that need throwing away. We are those people that kind of go, oh, we finished half of that, but we shouldn't throw that away because, we might eat the other half of that, and you put it in the fridge and then you never eat the other half of that because who really ever wakes up in the morning and kind of goes, I'm going to finish off that salad from last night, or and maybe some people do. Maybe this is the thing. So we just have lots and lots of things. Basically, what we do is kind of like once a month is we open up the fridge and kind of go, yeah, we didn't eat any of them, and throw away.
And it's all gone off.
The old salad, or the one portion of lasagna, or the tomato that in theory went off 3 weeks ago, but actually looks perfectly fine. And then you have that debate about, shall I put that on my croque monsieur or not? So yeah, if you open up my fridge, you get a selection of things that you would not want to eat, and cider.
Which is very important. Going with your one, the other day, I think, last week, I think, I had for breakfast, because it was going to go off that day, and the meal plans for that day, it didn't match. So the only way I could have these foods and not throw them in the bin was for breakfast. I had a medium-sized pizza and a big portion of coleslaw because they both were going to go off that day. And it annoyed me too much, so I had that for breakfast. So I was called random things in my household, such as pig and geez, what's wrong with you, and stuff like that. But my fridge would consist of not a lot really. We've got a 3-year-old bottle of champagne or something like that hasn't moved, and no one's ever going to. Even Christmas, it's like, shall I open the champagne? No, we'll save it for a special occasion. I still have no idea what we expect to happen that we're saving this bottle of champagne for, but something amazing one day is going to happen, and we're finally going to get to it and drink it. Loads of fizzy drinks. I'm addicted to fizzy drinks. Mainly Coke, Coke Zero, and Diet Coke and stuff like that. And what else is in there now? Actually,
is this Spud's list of the week? Just like the contents of my fridge. Actually,
we can go through it. Fridge. Yeah, no, I could go theme tune.
List of the week. Do 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 do.
We should segment that way. We get a segment and a list, and I'll be happy. I'll be in my element.
Spud is obsessed with segments. Every week before the show, he's kind of like, we can have a segment on that, a weekly segment. And I'm always like, no, I don't want any weekly segments. Just do it. He loves segments. If you want a segment, write in, let us know, because Spud will be your biggest fan ever if you tell him he can have a segment for something.
I will. I'm especially going to write a list of what's in my fridge for next week. I will. I'm being serious. I think I listed most of it, but just in case I missed anything, maybe eggs or cheese, I'll definitely go in there. Right, next question. Missed again from Twitter. I'm trying to catch up with old ones here, so as well. Sorry, because we keep missing guys. Since you guys were talking about Michael Fassbender, which I assume was the Prometheus episode where we spoke about Prometheus, any thoughts on him in the Assassin's Creed movie? I've seen.
He's an interesting actor. He's one of these guys that's very calm as an actor. Like he tends to play characters that are quite quiet, but then can go crazy. And he's quite a cold-looking man, and which is probably down to kind of the blue hairs, blonde hair, blue hairs, blue eyes, blonde hair thing. He's one of those character actors. Yeah, that's good. He's a good character actor. He fulfills a particular niche of characters that act in a certain way. You know, a bit like how Martin Freeman basically plays Martin Freeman in every film he's in. You know, hang on a minute, that's Bilbo Baggins. No, it's Martin Freeman. Oh yeah, you're right. He's just got hairy feet. And is just he's and what he does, I think he does very, very well. I'd be interested to see him play something completely different. What movie did you say he was coming up in?
He's going to be in the Assassin's Creed movie, which is a video game movie, so therefore it probably will be bad because of the curse of video game movies.
Is the character he's playing somewhat cold and quiet, but can actually be quite aggressive and random, like bursts? Yep,
that more or less describes most assassins in the Assassin's Creed series. So,
well, that's why they've asked him to do it.
Well, he nails most parts. I think he's good as Magneto. He was good in Prometheus, even though some people don't like the film. I thought he was good as the android. I've never watched him and thought, that was crap. What's this guy doing on my TV? He's rubbish. So I'm sure he'll nail the role, but I don't know if the film's going to be... He looks cool in his little Assassin's Creed. Have you seen the picture?
Have there been good computer game movies?
You mean you didn't like Super Mario Brothers? Oh, what's wrong with you?
I feel I'm missing something, some really successful franchise that I've just forgotten about completely. Super Mario Brothers was terrible. The Tomb Raider ones were passable. I mean, I didn't particularly like them, but like they made money. They made enough for a sequel.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Doom was rubbish.
Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
Oh, I like the original Mortal Kombat with the music, and I thought that was cool. I used to watch that. I liked it. Not the second one. The second one, and obviously the best person to play a Asian thunder god is a French actor, a white French actor. That's perfect for Christopher Lambert.
But of course, the Angry Birds movie is coming.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be an animated one, so they probably pulled it off. Isn't the guy that did the Lego movie? Isn't he writing that?
The Lego movie was very good.
I loved the Lego movie. Oh, so good. But yeah, if he's writing it, it could be all day. I think it's a pair of us. If they're writing that could be good. So that could be the first one. But I'm not holding my breath for the Assassin's Creed movie. But I think Michael Fassbender will probably be really good in it and assassinate people.
Look to the very when they come. And that brings us to the end of SpudAdi. Episode, what are we on now? 97? 6. Close.
6.
Thank you for watching. If you're watching on Twitch, then thank you. Please do follow. If you're listening on iTunes and Audio Boom, then please do tell people about the podcast if you've enjoyed it. Please help us to grow. And if you're watching on YouTube, indeed, remember you can get it as a podcast and listen to it on your way to work and all those kind of things. I will be back in about half an hour on my Twitch channel, continuing my Skyrim playthrough. I am the Wizard Lizard. What are you playing this week, Spud?
I'm still trying to get through Bloodborne. Probably throwing things at the TV when the boss kills me for the umpteenth time, and obviously Hearthstone as well. I can't stop playing that. I'm still addicted.
What rank did you make this month?
17. That was rubbish. I got up to 15 and I got knocked all the way back down. I was very sad.
I like the new prizes. The new prizes for getting a certain rank is really cool. Did you get that today?
I haven't checked today. But
if you log in, it tells you your rank, and then it says congratulations, and here is your prizes based on the rank you got. I got 5 prizes today.
Oh, what rank did you finish?
I finished on rank 9, but I got to rank 8, and the prizes are based on the highest rank you got during the month.
Oh, cool. So I'll get the higher one, not the... Oh, cool. That's good. That's good.
I got a pack of cards. Did I get a pack of cards? No, I got the new card back, and then I got like a few golden cards, which is quite cool, and a little bit of dust.
Oh, cool. All
right. Cool. Thank you for watching Spud, everyone. Here is the theme tune to send you away with a smile, and we'll catch you guys same time next week. Bye-bye.
Oh.
SpudAdi, he's Spud and I'm Addy. Just listen, you'll glisten, cause you'll be so happy. Our podcast is random talk on this and on that. But what did you expect from potatoes and fat? Yeah, what did you expect from potatoes and fat?